What a cracking day it is today. Liquid sunshine. There's a surprise, eh? So, is the Fife property market going to crash? There's the headline. Are we heading for it? I'd be interested to know your thoughts. I tell you what though, BBC has brought out a report this morning on their news desk on housing. And I thought it was quite interesting when they said that Winchester is now the least affordable city to buy a home. And that means it's the most expensive, if that makes sense, to buy a home. It is, wait for it, it is 14 times the average earnings. 14 times the average earnings. That is mental. Just think what you earn and multiply it by 14 times, and that is the price of a property in proportion to what they're buying in Winchester. That's crazy. And it's even higher than Greater London. And Greater London is 11 times the average salary in there. I mean, typically buying a home in the UK will now set back buyers 8.1 times their average earnings. And that's up from 5.6 times a decade ago. So let's put that into perspective though. A decade ago, interest rates were a lot higher when you think about it. So therefore, proportionally, mortgage rates were dearer. And therefore, the average earnings, the average amount that you were paying out in a mortgage was significantly higher than it is now. Now, the average amount back in the credit crunch, for example, which is about 15, 16 years ago, that was sitting at round about, I think it was round about 8 or 9 times average earnings. Today, we are sitting at 5.4 times average earnings. In the credit crunch, you were paying almost 60% of your income out on mortgage payments. Today, mortgage payments, you're paying out just over 30% income on your mortgage payments. So even though that seems an astronomical figure, proportionally, you're still better off. But this is quite interesting when we look at Scotland, for example. I mean, this is all about, over the past year, the Halifax rate into house price growth in the UK has actually gone up by 10.3%. Now, it's an analysis of figures of the Office of National Statistics suggests that the average earnings for people living and working in cities has climbed just 2.1% over the same period. So, does that mean that basically house price inflation is beating wage inflation or salary inflation? And that's probably absolutely right. I mean, the average city house price is sitting at £287,740, while the comparable earnings rose average house price, increased to £287,440, but the average earnings increased to £35,677. That's not a lot. Surprisingly, cities are slightly more affordable in the UK on average as the whole, according to the figures. So what makes that difference then? And let's look at some of the numbers. So let's look at Scotland, for example. Let's talk about Scotland. So in Scotland, it's an entirely different picture. So Scotland, actually, the areas for us tend to come into, here's the least affordable cities just now. We'll quickly go over them. Oxford, Thurrock, Bath, Chichester, Cambridge, Brighton and Hove, East, South East. There's a South East and South West. London South East. St Albans South East. Chelmsford South East. Is there a pattern here? It's everything in South East. Salisbury South East. That's another one. Exeter South West. Oh, we've got a South West. Leicester East Midlands. Norwich East Anglia. Bristol South West. Southampton South East. Canterbury South East. Gloucester South West. Worcester West Midlands. Cardiff Wales. Wow. there's another place apart from Middle England. So this is quite an interesting one. The top 20 most affordable cities. So this is the ones that you can afford. So the top most affordable city is, drum roll, Londonderry in Northern Ireland. Yeah, absolutely, Angela. It was on the news earlier. This is what prompted me to do this post. And then I'll come back to the Fife property market in a minute and tell you possibly why we might be or might not be heading for a crash. So Londonderry Northern Ireland is 4.7 times the average salary, which is actually in at 155,917 for the price of a property. The average salary is actually £33,138. Carlisle comes next, Bradford next. Stirling, the first Scottish place and the most affordable, is 5.4 times, and that's £208,927. And the average salary is £38,744. Aberdeen's next, 5.4 times average salary. Glasgow, 5.4 times average salary. Perth, 5.5. You can see all that. I mean, Scotland's the most affordable place to live in the whole of the UK, I would say. And then we come to Hull, we come to Dundee, which is 5.8 times average salary, and so on and so forth. Let's see if we can find Belfast, Edinburgh. Edinburgh's not in there at all. There's a surprise though. You know, Edinburgh's pretty middle market. And then Fife itself. So let's talk about Fife. So Fife itself, average price point for the average salary is to the average salary is 5.4 times. Now, that's down from the credit crunch, because the credit crunch, the average salary compared to the average house price was round about 9 times. So we're still way before the peak of the market is what it is. And when you combine that with the fact that you can get a mortgage and it will proportionately on the average price, the mortgage amount of your salary will be just over about 30%, as opposed to 60% in the credit crunch, then you're still more affordable to buy just now than you were at the credit crunch times. So there's a lot of leeway there, because banks will be gearing up towards actually making lending more affordable for people that have got higher average salary times. In other words, 9 times. They've got to try and work out how they can fund somebody to buy a property that's 9 times the value of their salary. So if they start to work out how to, the way this is going, banks are going to get carried away again. Maybe interested to hear your thoughts on that. I think if we give banks license to do that, I have a sneaking suspicion they'll try it. After all, they're in the business of lending, aren't they? That's their job, that's their business, that's how they make money. They lend to other people, and in turn, they make interest off of that, and then they take our money, which they pay us less interest, and they make the differential. That's the fundamentals of banking. So the banks will be looking to get them further lending at easier rates to make it more affordable for them, and as a result we'll get pulled into that, and it'll allow us to have more affordable rates as well, and more affordable multiples of our salary. So it might go a lot higher than the 5.4. So I do think there's a lot of leeway. My personal opinion is we're not headed for a crash anytime soon. And I don't think we've got any crash on the horizon. If anything, I think it will still continue just now, and it will continue to just peter off and actually just flatten out a bit. But the prices won't drop significantly. I don't think they'll drop at all. There's nothing on the horizon that would suggest that to me. The Bank of England has said they're holding interest rates again. They all unanimously voted for 0.1% to stay as the base interest rate. So that gives us confidence that they know interest rates won't rise. However, I think we should take into account as well that about 78% of all current mortgages getting taken out just now are 78% of the mortgages that are out now, as in the pipeline, and actually people have got mortgages, 78% of them are actually fixed rates. So even if interest rates go up, it won't affect 78% of the market in any time soon. Most new mortgages getting taken out now, almost 90% of them are actually all fixed rates. So therefore, everybody, if an interest rate comes along, all these people are taking out mortgages now at fixed rates, it won't affect them either. So even if we have a short-term interest rate increase, it won't affect most of the people on mortgages just now. Whereas in the credit crunch, there was less people. There was round about 30 to 40% on fixed rates. So immediately all these people got hit with increase in interest rates, and that's what affected the market straight away, because there was a flood onto the market of about 6% in properties, just all went onto the market at the same time, and that's what caused the immediate crash, as well as the affordability levels and the higher interest rates going up as well. So I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on this. If you've got an opinion, more than happy to take that on board and see what your thoughts are on this as well. And yeah, guys, remember, it's a debate. You might see something different in the market that I don't see, but I can't see any strong indicators to suggest that the market will go anytime soon, it'll crash or anything like that. I think we will continue to boom just now. We've got 500 properties on the market. All the estate agents in Fife have around, and you can do it yourself. You can just go into Rightmove or Zoopla and type in Fife as the search, take out everything that's sold so far, and you'll see the number of properties right across Fife that are currently on the market. And that'll be round about 500 properties or thereabouts. Now, 12 months ago, or just over 12 months ago, there was about 1,200 properties on the market up for sale. So we've got less supply, however, we've got more demand, and I'll talk about that in a minute. In the credit crunch, we had 3,000 properties on the market across Fife at one point in time. So that's gone from 3,000 in the credit crunch to 500 available today. Activity on websites, Rightmove reported their activity year on year has gone up about 40 to 50% in terms of the number of people searching on their website. Ours in the last 12 months has gone up 100% in terms of activity. We've gone on from just over 200,000 visitors to 450,000 visitors in 1 year. Yep, you heard it. And that's because we're using video, possibly. We're hitting different markets that other people weren't hitting. We're getting in front of an audience that otherwise wouldn't normally visit a website or a portal until later on, until they're definitely going to decide that they're wanting to buy. And because of that, and because we're getting in front of them on video format and talk-ups like this, we're getting their attention before they actually go to a portal, before they go to a website. And that's where we're getting advantage over everyone else and what they're doing for our sellers. Again, you'll see it yourself. You'll be watching this right now. Now, where do you see a video like this on Rightmove? Where do you see a video like this on Zoopla? S1 Homes, prime location. You don't. You don't see anything like that. Most of it is all in blogs, which you have to go and read through. It's not someone telling you what the market's like. And I think that's a more engaging format, because I don't know about you, I'll get bored to tears when I start reading some of these news items. I mean, I was reading that one the other now, and I kind of just switched off and I just skimmed through the headlines and just went on from there to see exactly where we were. So again, that's just my personal opinion, but I do think video format is the one. Yeah, Angela, yep. Pre-portals, yep, are spot on marketing for your sellers. I would agree 100%. We're hitting numbers. I was out with a surveyor this morning. So the surveyor came back to me and told me the home report value was 250,000. And I showed him all the comparables and actually demonstrated to him why the home report value is 300,000. Now, I don't know about you, but most agents will just take the word of the surveyor and they'll just accept it. And I've clearly demonstrated to the surveyor, no, these are all the comparables that suggest that is, and he has completely agreed with me. And that one conversation, well, it was a couple of hours actually, gathered all this evidence together. That one conversation from me as the expert has actually added £50,000 to the starting point of that customer's selling price. And that's what people buy us for, our expertise. So I think that's another thing that actually is the market, because you'll see properties there now. I mean, there was a property I saw this morning, a 4-bedroom, 3-reception period property, and it was on at 335,000. I'm thinking, well, I'm selling a 2-bedroom flat in the same area for 216,000. So you're telling me a 4-bedroom and a 3-reception detached period property, the differential is only 120 grand. That's no way. That can't be right. So I would say that's grossly undervalued in terms of the price. Now, what is that doing for the seller? Yeah, it might go to a closing date and everybody will jump for joy and they'll put their hands up in there and go, yeah, we're in a closing date. But the reality was it was wrongly priced in the first place. So how much more have you lost as a result of possibly not having the right expert on your side with the right pricing and to understand the market? That's key. That's key when it comes down to analysing and understanding and knowing what price points are and where they are, and also gathering the evidence in the detail. I mean, another property we sold recently, it was on at 220 and we ended up selling it for 65,000 more. There was another one that went for 130,000 more. Another one went for 100,000 more. And that's almost commonplace now, where we tend to be getting these numbers, and they're astronomical. And I'm not going to name properties because obviously that's confidential, but you'll begin to see these once they come through and once they're completed and over the line, and all that information will come through. So just now, what we are talking about in the news, the Halifax says that prices have gone up 10.3% in the last 12 months. That's historical information. What we're saying is properties prices and what we're experiencing have gone up 16%, as opposed to what the home report value is right now. Right now, as of today, we're experiencing that. If we take all the properties we've currently sold in the market and what we've achieved for our clients so far, it comes to over £1 million extra over the home report value. I'll say that again, £1,047,000 over the home report value we've got in the pipeline so far extra for our customers. That translates to around about £36,000 for every single customer extra for a property. That's what you should be gauging your estate agent on when you go to ask them, how good are you? You shouldn't be looking at their boards and say, how many boards have you got in the area and how many properties you sell? You should be saying as a seller, or I would be saying as a seller, what's your track record? How much do you achieve more than the home report value? And how do you negotiate to get the right offer for me on behalf of me? And what tools do you use to do that? The one thing you don't do is look to say how many properties did they sell, because as soon as you get out that how many properties did they sell, you use the right move charts and they go, well, we sell most properties in the area. That's fine. I could sell most properties in the area as well. But what are they selling for? How much are you getting more than the home report value? And can you do that for me? And that's probably one of the most important things you should be doing, or my advice you should be doing as a seller, is to get that advice and ask the actual estate agent that's sitting in front of you, what is your track record, what can you achieve, not how many properties you've sold, what price do you get at the end over the home report value. And that's me, done. I was actually sitting in the car waiting for the rain to go off. But it's not good enough, I'll just have to make a run for it. And guys, if you've got any questions, please feel free to message me direct here on this post, or give us a call at one of the offices. 01334 65 42 21, 01333 421 774, or 01592 75 2000. And I'm Jim Parker for Fife Properties TV.